Welcome back. My name is Ryan, this is Michelle. We are Hey Olexa, and we're a millennial couple trying to get out of debt so that one day we can live our dream life.
So, we're bringing Beers with Bucks back, guys. We have our beers. We don't have any bucks. We're not going to throw any at the camera.
Did you just say beers with bucks? Can we just rewind real quick?
Beers and bucks.
I think we just settled how you say it.
So we're bringing back Beers and Bucks. We've gotten several comments about if we've gotten out of debt and what's going on, and we realized that we kind of just nixed our Beers and Bucks, even though it was one of the things that you guys liked the most on our channel. So without further ado, we're bringing it back.
So we're going to give you kind of a quick update just on where we're at in general. This one's going to be a little bit different, but we are going to jump into our budget and give you the highlights of where that's at as well, just like we normally do. First off, with the debt, right? Last time we updated you guys, we had paid off a few credit cards, we had paid off our personal loan that we took out for our wedding, and but we had some student loans that were left over. I think roughly $28,000 worth of student loans. We honestly haven't been paying that off as aggressively as we had once hoped. We actually want to do a whole video about just that, why that's the case, where we're at specifically with that target, and that'll be the next video coming towards you guys. But for now, we do have good news. We did set up an auto payment. We have the money automatically coming out and going straight to the student loan debt, despite the fact that it's actually not technically due yet, because you know how all that goes. But we wanted to get that money going because we know that's important, that we are paying towards those student loans. On top of that, we also have put in our future financial planning budgeting 2.0 thing that we showed you guys last video. We do actually have that in the budget item, or in the budget, to give more money every single month towards debt, to be paying more towards debt. We just don't have that set up as the auto pay because we're still figuring out exactly what that number should be.
Exactly.
And one of the reasons that we haven't been paying off debt as aggressively is because we're actually saving for some stuff. One thing being a house.
We've actually put an offer on 2 houses in the last month, and unfortunately we've been beat out on both of those. And currently we're just trying to figure out which way is up because the market is extremely crazy. If you have heard anything, you know that the market has been crazy for the last few years. Interest rates have been really great, prices are going up, kind of all of the things, and ultimately we just are kind of left in a little place of standing still. We don't really know what we want to do next, and we've actually got quite a few different things that we've considered, some of which being buying a plot of land, living in a van, putting a tiny house on a plot of land. We've considered going back to Germany, which I love, and some of my friends there have really tried to convince us of doing. We've also considered staying where we're at, which is a bit expensive, and honestly, as much as we love it here, it's just not realistic for our budget, and at least the budget for the goals that we want to hit. We want to live our dream life, and it's just not going to happen with so much money going to our rent each month. And then lastly, we've also considered downsizing to a smaller apartment, which might be the top of our list at this point.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely hasn't been an easy process. These last couple weeks have been hard. It's part of why it's been harder to put out good content for you guys. But we're working through it, and we're going to keep you updated on how all that goes.
It's kind of exciting to be back doing Beers with Bucks, honestly. We get to have some short form, long-ish form content, just being able to tell you guys where we're at, what we're doing, and what we're up to. And we're kind of excited that you guys wanted to know these things again, because some of our videos are really boring, and now we just get to hang out with you guys and talk to you guys and let you know what's going on in our lives. So without further ado,
let's talk about the budget. All right, so we're just going to kind of run through some of the key items that are genuinely concerns for us or big changes, without covering all the stuff that we do well. I promise we actually did hit some of our budget items. We're just not talking about those. The first thing is gas. Everyone, I think, in the country knows that gas prices are wild right now, and therefore we are very much over our gas budget. And we're also traveling a little bit more because I've started driving to work a little bit more because I was working from home entirely, and that's changed. second of all, we've got our food budget.
If you've been around the channel at all, you know that one of our just issues is food, whether it be restaurant or a grocery budget. We seem to, for some reason, just really struggle in this area.
And just for those that might make a comment about it, this beer is actually from Christmas.
And
so
we
this is
didn't
not
buy
part
this
of that.
in that. So please don't yell at us when you hear these numbers.
But yeah, so our budgets are pretty high. We're should I say them out loud?
So we always budget roughly for groceries like $325, and that's roughly like $75 a week for ourselves. Mm-hmm. That should be plenty, especially because we shop mostly at Aldi, minus a few like key ingredients that we just can't buy there, like coconut milk, like full fat coconut milk, and like just random little ingredients like nutritional yeast. Those things we have to go to other stores for.
And one thing, we put some thought into some strategies about how we can do that better. Hopefully we'll be able to come to you guys in the future with a video with some planning around that. But I think a lot of it, as we discussed, kind of comes down to planning. And the fact that a lot of the time, honestly, we just we don't have the food around, and so we just run over to Walmart and pick something up, or it's just like we're already out over at Fresh Time, so it's just easier to grab more groceries there, even though they're more expensive, those sorts of things. Whereas when we do plan and we do actually like map it all out, we can be much closer or even on budget.
Do you want to tell them where we're at for our grocery budget?
Yeah. So groceries this month were $683 out of $325, which is wild. Part of that is due to the fact that we went on a trip out of town and spent a little extra because we wanted to not stop at restaurants. Didn't get to our restaurant budget yet.
Here.
But yeah, so clearly it needs to be reined in. We got to figure something out with that. Speaking of restaurants, that is also very much over. This month, I feel like we were doing well for a while. This month, we're pretty rotten at. We've been buying food at restaurants,
not taking our lunches and like
just easy dinners when we're on the way to something.
Yeah,
swinging by Burger King because they have an Impossible Whopper there. So, yeah, and then some like just eating out with friends or going on date nights. But I think that's stuff that like those are the things we really want to have that budget for. So if we weren't doing the rest of that stuff, then we could actually do those things, and I think
without
that'd be okay.
being over our budget. Yeah, and that one actually turned out to be like $536, which is an insane amount of money when we only budget $100 for eating out. Realistically, if we were to just go out to eat, we could eat that up in one time because we do like to be generous with our tip. I was in the service industry for a very long time, and I don't know. It's fun to be generous for for any people in the service industry, especially in this day and age where things are just weird. We want to be able to like give abundantly and generously. And
we have talked about upping our food budget, maybe lumping it all into one food budget and giving a little bit more money to that, because some of it also comes down to spending a little bit more for healthier food.
Yes.
You guys probably know when you're shopping that sometimes like you're choosing between like a really cheap option or something that's going to be a little bit better for your body. So that's always a concern.
We'll definitely keep you updated on that.
For sure.
It's for sure something that we are trying to rein in. And if you've been around the channel, you know this is something that we've actually struggled with for the last year. And it's the top thing, I think, from, if you follow along, you know that we did Dave Ramsey for a little while. Dave actually says this is like the place that people just don't realize how much money they spend on food. Food is like one of the hardest places to cut money.
We are aware. It turns out. So then next we've got our other budget, miscellaneous stuff that comes up, and that's a whopping $1,058 out of a budget of $200. So clearly way overboard on the other category, and actually I haven't even we'll have to dive into that one and see exactly like where that money is going, what's happening there. But clearly it's getting a little outrageous, so we got to rein that in as well. And finally, there's our pet food and supplies. Really, this one wasn't super over. Part of it, this is we buy enough food for Thor for 2 months, and so that came out this month, so it looks kind of wild. At $327 out of $125, but really, again, that's 2 months worth of food. But we did recently start actually putting him in doggy daycare 1 to 2 days a week, when we both have long shifts at work and he has to go for an extended period of time. Gets his wiggles out, as Michelle would say. And that is something that's important to us, and we actually did decide before that we were going to put that in the budget. but we just didn't actually put it on our Mint budget here. So we are going to update that and up that to $250. We did the math on what we spent this month on that. It was an extra $125, so the whole budget will be $250, and that should be enough to cover them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Sorry that it's been a while since we've done one of these, but hopefully you guys like the content. Hopefully that you enjoy really being there with us on this journey. And I think we've got some fun stuff coming up that we can share about what's going on in our lives if you guys want to keep coming along and learning more about it.
If you like this video or you like content like this, please let us know by liking this. That helps us. It helps the algorithm, and it helps us just know what you guys do and don't like. The other thing too is comment and let us know. We love seeing your comments. We do read them, and we would love just to get to know you guys as well. So if you prefer us actually going all the way through and telling you what we did well on, what we didn't do well on, or if you would rather the short form of, hey, here are the highlights, let us know. It's helpful for us to be able to decipher that. So,
no. And as always, don't forget to budget wisely,
compromise kindly,
and be authentically you.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.